This demonstration video will show the process of creating a mesh generator coverage and extracting centerline and bank arcs. We have opened an SMS project of our demo site. This site is a bridge crossing over the Cimarron River in Oklahoma. The Project Explorer contains data of various types. The data under the Map Data folder are referred to as coverages. We will create points, arcs, and polygons within the coverage to represent the components of our model. We'll first create a new coverage under Map Data. The coverage type is specified when creating a new coverage. Here we'll specify a mesh generator coverage type. This will be used to automatically generate a 2D mesh and define the extents of the model. We will discuss the mesh generator coverage in more depth in Lesson 6. Next, we'll create feature arcs that represent the extents of the mesh. We'll start by using the Create Feature Arc tool to digitize the upstream boundary location. Let's begin by clicking to create a node to begin the arc. We add vertices to define the shape of the arc. Then we double-click to create a node to complete the arc. We'll now create a similar arc representing the downstream boundary location. Now we'll create arcs representing the lateral extents of the mesh. If you find that you have made a mistake while digitizing an arc, you can use the backspace key on the keyboard to undo the last vertex. We can also change the location of the vertices after we complete the arc using the Select Feature Vertex tool. Polygons are built by creating one or more feature arcs to form an enclosed loop, or loops. In this case, while digitizing our arcs, we failed to snap the endpoints properly to close the loop. To fix this issue, we will use the Select Feature Point tool to click the end node of the lateral arc and drag it so that it snaps to the node of the downstream boundary. Now we're ready to build a polygon. To do this, we can select the Build Polygons option from the Feature Objects menu. The Build Polygons tool can also be accessed by clicking on the Build Polygons macro from the toolbar near the top of the SMS window. Here we have the Fill Polygon Display option turned on. We can see that the polygon was successfully built. SMS has tools that can automate the extraction of features such as streams, stream banks, and ridges. We will get the chance to do this in the exercise. Feature extraction begins by running a program called Topaz. This program computes flow direction and flow accumulation on a raster elevation dataset. This is done by right-clicking on the raster and selecting Run Topaz. This process can sometimes take close to 30 minutes to complete, depending on the size of the raster. So running Topaz was performed previously to this demonstration, as well as for your exercise. Now that Topaz has been run, we can extract a centerline arc for the main channel of the Cimarron River. We will start by renaming the area property coverage to Starting Point. Next, we will use the Create Feature Point tool to create a point just outside the upstream boundary, near where we would assume the centerline of the channel to be. Extracting the centerline is done by using the Select Feature Point tool to select the point we just created, right-clicking on the point and selecting Extract Feature. An additional coverage has now been created that contains the new centerline of the Cimarron River. The centerline coverage can be used to extract arcs that represent the banks of the Cimarron River. Bank arcs are useful in both mesh generator and materials coverages. To extract bank arcs, we will use the Create Feature Point tool and digitize a point in our centerline coverage near the location of one of the riverbanks. Next, it is important to use the Select Objects tool because we will be selecting both the centerline arc and the point we just created. No other tool allows us to select both feature points and feature arcs. By holding Control on the keyboard and clicking and dragging with the mouse, we can select the centerline arc with the selection arrow. Then we can hold the Shift key and select the bank feature point. Next, we will right-click on the bank feature point and select Extract Banks. Notice that a new coverage named Bank Lines has been created that contains our extracted bank arcs. Next, we will copy the bank arcs to our mesh generator coverage. This is done by using the Select Feature Arc tool, holding the Shift key, and selecting both bank arcs. Next, we will right-click on one of the arcs and select Copy to Coverage. In the Select Coverage window, we'll select the Mesh Generator coverage. This will copy the bank arcs into the Mesh Generator coverage. We can now see that the bank arcs have been copied to our Mesh Generator coverage. We'll now create a polygon that represents the channel. We can then apply meshing attributes to the channel polygon. To create our polygon, we will start by using the Clean tool. This can be accessed from the Feature Objects drop-down menu or from the macro on the toolbar at the top of the SMS window. In the Clean Options dialog, we will select Intersect Arcs and Remove Dangling Arcs checkboxes, and we will change the minimum length to 3,000 feet and click OK. This tool has inserted a node where our bank arcs intersect the upstream and downstream arcs, and removed the end segments of the bank arcs. We can now build polygons by using the Build Polygon macro. Notice that the polygon has been created for the Cimarron River channel. This concludes part 1 of our demonstration. We've gone over creating polygons and extracting features for our mesh generator coverage. You will follow similar steps as you do the first lesson for this exercise.